Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are in a new flower bed, very similar to the hummingbird flower bed we have across on the other side of the retaining walls. We have a new flower bed this year specifically for bee flowers, kind of like a bee garden. I once again ordered the plants from Missouri Wildflower Nursery up towards Jefferson City. I will leave their information below if you're interested in getting those plants. It is a group of plants specifically for attracting bees. These are native to our area, at least here in Southeast Missouri. You will have to check with your zone whether these can be grown in your area or not. One thing about this group of flowers is that they have a lot more height to this group. So I'm going to have some pretty tall ones over on this side of the retaining wall in this flower bed. Now I've had these for about a month. I've been kind of babying them a little bit with all of the garden vegetables. We just have not had good weather. We might have a warm day here and there, but we just got done having some snow and freezing temps. I think we're in the clear now. It is late April. I'm hoping we don't have any more frost issues. So while we have some time, while it's nice outside, I'm getting these in the ground so they can at least get out of their pot and have room to grow and spread. I'm actually going to go ahead and start with the taller group of plants. So the first one I'm going to start with doesn't really look like much of anything right now. This plant is actually dormant. It does not bloom or really come to life until about August, September. So it's kind of more of a fall plant, but that is the blazing star. I do have some seeds started for this one, and I do have this same plant up in the flower bed by where we have our bell. This plant is gorgeous. It is very, very tall. It's like a big spindle at the very, very top, almost like a sparkler. If I had to like compare it to something, to me it looks like a sparkler with the purple flowers at the very, very tip of it. This can get very tall. The ones at the bell are every bit of probably 5 foot tall because they're almost as tall as me. I'm 5'8", and when I go up to them, they are just about as tall as me. They do get kind of top heavy, so they will kind of droop and go their own way. So once again, August to September bloom time, purple flowers at the very tip top of a long stem, and can get anywhere between 30 to 54 inches tall. You will want to space these about 12 to 16 inches apart from your other plants. So the next one I have is showy goldenrod. This will have a cluster of yellow flowers on top with a red stem. This one blooms late summer, early fall. This one can get as tall as 36 to 48 inches tall. And you will want to space these 18 to 24 inches apart from other plants. This next one I have is New England Aster. This one will have large clusters of blue violet flowers with a yellow center on them, and these produce several flowers within the cluster. We're talking probably like hundreds. They bloom in late fall, September, October-ish range. They get 36 to 60 inches tall, and you will actually want to spread these out 24 to 36 inches apart. Once these start, they will kind of multiply and spread pretty quickly. I do have this actual plant here, and then I have some seeds started for some more asters. Another little fact about them, besides the bees, these are very popular for monarch butterflies when migrating in the fall. So kind of 2 for 1 with the New England Aster. Okay, next we have the common milkweed. This will produce almost like a ball of lavender colored flowers at the tip top of it. They spread by underground growth with the roots. These can get 4 to 6 foot tall, so this is another tallish plant. I haven't come across them quite 6 foot tall yet, but I have seen them frequently within the range of 4 to 5 foot. These you will want to plant 18 to 24 inches apart. This one does multiply pretty frequently. You will just want to, as the plants come up, if you're getting too many or it's kind of taken over a little bit, just pluck the plants as they come up to the amount or the number that you want. We do have this occurring in several locations here on the farm, so I could easily transplant some more of these if I want to build this flower bed up. I think I will just plant this one and let it reproduce on its own. The last of the taller plants that I have is blue Sage Salvia. Now I do have some more salvia in the front flower bed out by the bell, and I do have some right here in the corner of this bee flower bed. We had just a little bitty corner where we had 2 plants and a hummingbird feeder, and we just kind of added on to that little corner. So I do have some of this established already, but we're going to go ahead and add to this. This came in that group of bee plants, so it is a duplicate, but it'll be fine. So the blue Sage Salvia will have blue flowers that bloom in August and September. They will get about 36 to 60 inches tall. You will want to space these 18 to 24 inches apart. This has spread pretty good, I would say. Back here, not so much. I don't know if it was just we had the size of that flower bed so small it didn't have as much space to grow, but up by the bell we have several volunteers coming up where it has spread by seed. So I know for sure that this one does reseed and reproduce pretty good. So kind of have space for this one. I'm gonna actually have this one right here a little bit closer just to spread it out from the other salvia that I have already in the corner of this flower bed. Okay, the next one we have here, this is Hairy Mountain Mint. White flowers that bloom July through September. There is no doubt about this mint. It is very, very fragrant, and it does have the square stem. This one can get 30 to 40 inches tall. You will want to space these 18 to 24 inches apart. If this is anything like other mint, I have a feeling this will spread pretty vigorously, but I've never grown this, so I can't speak from experience, just from what I know about mint in general. But we're gonna go ahead and plant it anyways because that's what the bees and butterflies like. Okay, next in the mid-range we have star Tickseed. This is a Coreopsis. I personally love Coreopsis. I think it is a unique, very pretty plant. I've got this in several locations here. I've got it at the bottom of our driveway and down by the spring. So we will have this up here. I do have some of this started as seed just because I like this plant so much. The variety that I have elsewhere around the house here, the leaves are more to the ground and then the flowers are extremely tall. This one, the leaves are already pretty tall, so I'll be curious on what this one looks like in the next year or two compared to the other varieties of Coreopsis that I have. So Coreopsis blooms June to August, sometimes later. I think it's safe to say sometimes earlier because the Coreopsis that I have at the bottom of the driveway is already putting blooms on. Granted, the frost I think hindered them a little bit, but I do already have blooms here in April on the other Coreopsis that I have. But to be on the safe side, we will say June through August. These can get between 18 to 36 inches tall. You will want to space these out 12 to 24 inches. This one does spread, but it kind of stays in a clump or a cluster, whereas the other ones will kind of put off separate little plants around it. This one kind of stays, or the other ones that I have around the farm here, they stay in a cluster. But a very pretty yellow flower, one of my favorites. Okay, next we have the purple coneflower. This will produce a pinkish purple flower on a very long stem. Here in Missouri we actually have 2 coneflowers, the purple and the yellow coneflower, and we will also be planting the yellow coneflower in this flower bed as well. But this one here, the purple one, these, just like the Coreopsis, kind of stay in clumps. So this will spread and they reseed very well, but it will reseed in kind of a clump. So once you get these started, you'll get kind of like a large little cluster of the purple coneflower. These will get 30 to 40 inches tall. You'll want to space these 16 to 20 inches apart, but just bear in mind that they do kind of spread, I think, in larger clumps than that. So you may want to give these adequate room if you would like to get a large cluster of the coneflowers going. Next we have the Slender Mountain Mint. Once again, another mint, square stem. This one isn't quite as fragrant as the other mint, but I'm sure it will be once it has a little bit of age on it. So the Slender Mountain Mint will have white to lavender blooms from June to August. It will get about 12 to 20 inches tall. Just like a typical mint, this will spread, so you'll just want to kind of pinch back, remove what you don't want if it's spreading too quickly for your preference. Spacing on these is 14 to 18 inches apart. Last but not least, we have the showy coneflower. This one produces the yellow flowers. Same structure as the purple coneflower, just a different color. So the other flowers will bloom July through August. This will form clumps if you like it to. It will grow 20 to 30 inches tall, and you will want to space these 18 to 24 inches apart. And that is a wrap for our bee garden. Once again, I will leave the information below on where we ordered our plants from. And as I've said before, we are from Missouri, so these may or may not work in your area. Now, while this is considered a bee garden, a lot of these plants will attract butterflies as well. And my hope is that in years to come, this whole flower bed will just be completely full, so there won't be bare spots in between. But that's going to take several years. If you didn't watch the hummingbird video, I will leave that link down below for the garden that we put in for the hummingbirds. But within that video, I did mention with these plants, these are the quart-sized plants, the same that I got for the hummingbird garden. But just keep in mind, the first year they will sleep. The second year, these plants will kind of creep, so they'll get a little bit bigger, but don't expect much growth. And then the third year, they will leap. So from the third year on, you will get pretty good growth from these plants. Now, in saying that, last year was the first year that I had the plants in for the hummingbird garden, and we had several blooms on them. They did very, very well. So I'm hoping these are the same way. And a lot of these plants were root bound as I was putting them in. They really needed to come out of those containers. Now that they've got room to grow, I'm hoping they take off. I'm going to go ahead and get these watered in. I appreciate you stopping by. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you've got any suggestions of plants that you have found to attract bees, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. While these are known to attract bees, I am not opposed to getting other plants as well. I do prefer to stick to native ones, so if they are native to Missouri, that's even more of a plus. If not, I will do some research into them. I know it's been a while since we've posted anything, but if you're interested, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It is getting prime time here in Missouri to plant and get out and about, so we will have several garden videos coming up, several new things that we're doing this year that I'm very excited about. But we thank you for stopping in, and we hope to see you again soon.